Dear students, today we are going to start part 4 of the chapter Devotional Paths to the Divine. And in this part, we'll study about the teachings of Kabir Das and Guru Nanak Dev. So, let's start. The first topic, a closer look, Kabir. Kabir Das, who probably lived in the 15th 16th centuries, was one of the most influential saints. He was brought up in a family of Muslim Julahas or viewers settled in or near the city of Benares. We have little reliable information about his life. If we talk about his birth, he was born in 1389 at Varanasi and died in Maghar. It is situated in Uttar Pradesh. We get to know of his ideas from a vast collection of verses called Sakhis, Pads, said to have been composed by him and sung by wandering bhajan singers. Some of these were later collected and preserved in the Guru Granth Sahib, Panchvani, and Bijak. Now we will discuss about the teachings of Kabir Das. Kabir's teachings were based on a complete, indeed vehement, rejection of the major religious traditions. His teachings openly ridiculed all forms of external worship of both Brahminical Hinduism and Islam, the preeminence of the priestly classes and the caste system. So he opposed casteism and idealism. The language of his poetry was a form of spoken Hindi widely understood by ordinary people, so it was very easy to be understood. He also sometimes used cryptic language, which is difficult to follow. Kabir believed in a formless supreme God and pressed that the only path to salvation was through bhakti or devotion. Kabir drew his followers from among both Hindus and Muslims. With the help of the following points, we will understand the teachings of Kabir. First, he laid stress on bhakti. Second, he said that through bhakti or devotion, one would come nearer to God. One could be released from the cycle of birth and death only by sincere love and devotion to God, which he called bhakti. Third, he sincerely tried to emphasize the unity of Islam and Hinduism by preaching those virtues which were common to both religions. Fourth, he made no distinction between Hindus and Muslims as we have discussed before a short while. Fifth, to Kabir, Allah and God Rama were but different names of the same Supreme Being. To him, Hindus and Muslims were pots of the same clay. Sixth, according to Kabir, salvation could be attained by doing good deeds or by means of bhakti or sincere devotion to God. The next topic is a closer look Baba Guru Nanak Dev. We know more about Baba Guru Nanak than about Kabir. Baba Guru Nanak Dev was born in 1469 and died in 1539. He was born at Talwandi, that is Nankana Sahib, now it is situated in Pakistan. He travelled widely before establishing a center at Kartarpur. Dera Baba Nanak on the river Ravi, it is Kartarpur, a regular worship that consisted of the singing of his own hymns, was established there for his followers, irrespective of their former creed, caste, or gender. His followers ate together in the common kitchen langar. So many times we have seen these kinds of pics of langar. The sacred space thus created by Baba Guru Nanak Deva was known as Dharmshal. It is now known as Gurudwara, as you can see in this picture, Gurudwara. Before his death in 1539, Baba Guru Nanak appointed one of his followers as his successor. His name was Lehna, but he came to be known as Guru Angad, signifying that he was a part of Baba Guru Nanak Dev himself. Guru Angad compiled the compositions of Baba Guru Nanak, to which he added his own in a new script known as Gurumukhi. As you can see in this picture, this is Gurumukhi script. The three successors of Guru Angad also wrote under the name of Nanak, and all of their compositors were compiled by Guru Arjan in 1604. To this compilation were added the writings of other figures like Sheikh Farid, Sant Kabir, Bhagat Namdev, and Guru Tegh Bahadur. In 1706, this compilation was authenticated by Guru Tegh Bahadur's son and successor. Name was Guru Gobind Singh. It is now known as Guru Granth Sahib, the holy scripture of the Sikhs. The number of Baba Guru Nanak's followers increased through the 16th century under his successors. They belonged to a number of castes, but traders, agriculturists, artisans, and craftsmen predominated. This may have something to do with Baba Guru Nanak's insistence that his followers must be householders and should adopt productive and useful occupations. They were also expected to contribute to the general funds of the community to followers. By the beginning of the 17th century, the town of Ramdaspur, it is known as Amritsar, had developed around the central Gurudwara, and it was called Harminder Sahib or Golden Temple. It was virtually self-governing, and modern historians refer to the early 17th century Sikh community as a state within the state. The Mughal Emperor Jahangir looked upon them as a potential threat, and he ordered the execution of Guru Arjan Dev in 1606. The Sikh movement began to get politicized in the 17th century, a development which culminated in the institution of Khalsa by Guru Gobind Singh in 1699. So Khalsa was established in 1699 by Guru Gobind Singh. The community of the Sikhs, called the Khalsa Panth, became a political entity. The changing historical situation during the 16th and 17th centuries influenced the development of the Sikh movement. The ideas of Guru Nanak Dev had a huge impact on this development from the very beginning. He emphasized, now we will discuss about the teachings, he emphasized the importance of the worship of one God. One God means there is only one God, no other gods like Hinduism. He insisted that caste, creed, or gender was irrelevant for attaining liberation. It means these are completely useless if we ask about liberation, if we ask about salvation. His ideas of liberation was not that of a state of insert bliss, but rather the pursuit of active life with a strong sense of social commitment. He himself used the term Nam, Dan, and Insan, Isnan, for the essence of his teaching, which actually meant right worship, welfare of others, and purity of conduct. So, Guru Nanak Dev followed the ideas of welfare of human beings. His teachings are now remembered as Nam Japna, Kirt Karna, and Vand Chakna, which also underline the importance of right belief and worship, honest living, and helping others. So all these kinds of good deeds were the teachings of Guru Nanak Dev. Thus Baba Guru Nanak's ideas of equality had social and political implications. This might partly explain the difference between the history of the followers of Baba Guru Nanak and the history of the followers of the other religious figures of the medieval centuries like Kabir, Ravidas and Dadu, whose ideas were very similar to those of Baba Guru Nanak Deva. So these were the teachings and ideas of Baba Guru Nanak Dev. Now we'll discuss about Martin Luther and the Reformation. First of all, Martin Luther. Who was Martin Luther? Martin Luther was a social reformer. He was a Protestant reformer of Germany. And the most popular thing about Martin Luther, that he was in favor of printing technology or printing culture, and he was against the conservative ideas of Roman Catholic Church. So the 16th century was a time of religious ferment in Europe as well. One of the most important leaders of the changes that took place within Christianity was Martin Luther. As I told you that Martin Luther was a social reformer and Protestant reformer. Born in 1483, died in 1546, Luther felt that several practices in the Roman Catholic Church went against the teachings of Bible, because Roman Catholic Church was in dominating form or dominating situation. So Martin Luther encouraged the use of the language of ordinary people rather than Latin, because Latin was difficult to understand by the ordinary people, and translated the Bible into German language. Luther was strongly opposed to the practice of indulgences or making donations to the church so as to gain forgiveness from sins. His writings were widely disseminated with the growing use of the printing press. As I told you that he was in favor of printing press, and he used printing technology to spread his ideas among the ordinary people. Many Protestant Christian sects trace their origins to the teachings of Luther. What did Martin Luther do at that time? In 1517, the most popular and the most prominent deed done by Martin Luther, that he wrote 95 theses. How many theses? 95 theses. Martin Luther wrote 95 theses in 1517 to criticize Roman Catholic Church, and he pasted in front of the door of a church in Wittenberg that enraged the Roman Catholic Church. Roman Catholic Church also opposed Martin Luther by using printing technology. So this was the beginning of the intellectual debate in Europe. So only due to the steps taken by Martin Luther. So dear students, this was about Martin Luther. In this way, we have completed this chapter. I hope that you understood. Read the chapter from the textbook and revise by watching these videos. Thank you. Have a nice day.